Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again for the second of this week's reviews. As I said before in the other one, I hope to get 4 of them out this week, plenty to look at. As many of you might already know, VirtualAirlinePilot has a partnership formed with the team at SPINOZA. And as part of that partnership, today we're looking at another of their sceneries just released. We are in the United States. This is Redding Regional Airport in California, Kilo Romeo Delta Delta. A payware scenery by SPINOZA, by the SPINOZA team, and you're looking at the release version 1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. And just to let you know, this will be available in the marketplace from the 23rd of September, so literally a few days or so, and it will be available to Xbox users and those people who purchase from the marketplace. The download is 746 meg and it installs at just over 2 gig, 2.04 gig to be precise. It's currently available from SimMarket for you, and it's priced at €19.92, which equates to roughly $22.15 US, or £16.82 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course may vary on your country of purchase. And as I said in a video recently, there have been situations where I've researched and looked at the price including tax on SimMarket, and the price on SimMarket has been slightly different in another country as viewed by another vendor. So my prices are a guide based on what I see on the day that I research. So no actual features have been listed for this yet, so let's go into the history and have a look and see what we've got here. Okay, some history for you then. Redding Regional Airport, Kilo Romeo Delta Delta, formerly known as Redding Municipal Airport, and you'll find it in the Flight Sim menu as Redding Muni, is a public-use regional airport owned and operated by the city of Redding in California in the United States of America. Located some 6 miles or 9.7 kilometers southeast of Redding in Shasta County, California, it is one of 2 airports in the town, the other one being Benton Air Park. In addition to general aviation, the airport has scheduled passenger flights non-stop to and from Los Angeles International and San Francisco International. Flights are operated by United Express Canadair CRJ200, the 700 and the Embraer 175 regional jets, as well as Alaska Airlines Embraer 175 service to Seattle Airport in Washington State. The City of Redding wanted a new airport and put in for a Works Progress Administration project that was called Stillwater Airfield. Before the airfield was built in 1942, the site was acquired by the United States Army Air Corps of Engineers, who then built Redding Army Airfield. Initially, this was a sub-base for the Chico Army Air Force and garrisoned by the 433rd Army Air Force Base Unit, under the command of the 4th Fighter Command at Hamilton Air Force Base. On December the 19th, 1945, the military declared Redding Army Air Force Base as excess, and on November 18th of 1946 it was turned over to the city for a civilian airfield. The final transfer was in 1949, ending military ownership. The City of Redding continues to operate the airport and has started a major commercial development. Southwest Airways served the airport during the late 1940s with a Douglas DC-3 round-trip service. The routing was from San Francisco, Oakland, Vallejo, Napa, Sacramento, Maryville, Yuba City, Chico, Red Bluff, Redding, Eureka, and Medford, operating several times a day. By 1959, Southwest Airways' successor, Pacific Airlines, had introduced the new Fairchild F-27 turboprop flights, operated on a daily round-trip routing from Redding to Chico, Sacramento, San Francisco, San Jose, Bakersfield, and finally into Los Angeles. In addition, a non-stop Douglas DC-3 service from Eureka Arcata Airport in Portland in Oregon was instituted. Pacific Airlines then merged with Bonanza Airlines and West Coast Airlines to form Air West, which in 1968 was operating all of its flights from Reading Airport with the Fairchild F-27 turboprops, flying direct services to San Francisco, Sacramento, Fresno, Las Vegas, Portland in Oregon, Eureka Air Carter, and Crescent City. Air West was subsequently renamed Hughes Air West following its acquisition by Howard Hughes, and in 1970 was operating all of its flights from Reading with Fairchild F-27 turboprops. Historical jet services included Hughes Air West operating flights with the Douglas DC-910s and the McDonnell Douglas DC-930s to San Francisco and many other major airports along the US West Coast. Frontier Airlines operated Boeing 737-200 services to Denver via Sacramento. United Airlines flew Boeing 737s non-stop direct to San Francisco for several years, starting in 1983. Pacific Express BAC 111s also flew non-stop to San Francisco and on to Los Angeles, as well as Portland in Oregon. In addition, American Eagle flew services operated by Wings West on behalf of American Airlines, using Fairchild Swearingen Metroliners that flew non-stop to San Jose, San Francisco, Eureka Air Carter, and Klamath Falls at various points until the late 1993. The City of Reading's remodel and expansion of the terminal building was complete as of November 11th in 2014. The secure passenger holding area increased its holding capacity from 70 passengers to over 200. The holding area now has restrooms, a convenience for passengers who previously had to leave the secure area if they wanted to use a restroom. In the 12 months to December 31st, 2022, the airport had over 60,000 aircraft operations, averaging 167 movements per day. Some interesting facts. On July 17, 2008, President George W. Bush and his staff landed at Reading in Air Force One to allow the President to see the damage done by wildfires. And on the 3rd of June 2016, Donald Trump held a campaign rally on the airport tarmac. So there you go, quite a lot of information, a lot of history to digest, but this airport has quite a bit of history behind it. So let's look at runways now. Okay, runways. Reading Regional Airport operates 2 runways. Runway 1634 is the longest, measuring 7,003 feet or 2,135 meters, and we're looking down the throat of that runway now. Runway 3012 measures just 5,067 feet or 1,544 meters. Both runways are constructed from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 505 feet or 154 meters and is located in the GMT UTC -8 hours time zone. California is one of the US states that does indeed observe daylight saving, not all of them do. And with both California and the UK having moved forward 1 hour onto daylight saving time, the airport remains 8 hours behind the UK. So runway 16, and we're looking down the throat of it now, features high-intensity runway lighting, runway lead-in lights, runway end identifier lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And as we look here you've got the runway lead-in light system. Here you've got the 2 flashing white lights which indicate runway end identifier lighting system. And you have the PAPIs on the left and the full high-intensity lighting. There's also a centerline light here which actually isn't on the charts, but again I'm not complaining really, it's perfectly acceptable. So everything seems to be perfectly okay here. Approaches for runway 16, well, you have a localizer back course because there's an instrument landing system at the other end which we'll look at the moment, and there's also an RNAV GPS option for landing at this end. So let's go look at the other end, runway 34. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 34, which again features the high intensity runway lighting, medium intensity approach lighting system with runway alignment indicator lights, which is what you have here, although I can't see. There really should be some flashing lights on there, but we'll have a close look in a minute. And again you've got precision approach path indicators on the left side. It doesn't mention runway end identifier lights at this end, but again we does have them, and as usual, as we've seen before, we've got the center line. So there are a couple of things here added that aren't on the charts, but again I'm not complaining, it looks perfectly okay. The strange thing is that runway 16 lists the runway leading lighting system, which is correct and it's there, but it's actually not shown on the plan chart. Whereas these lights here, the leading light system for runway 34, is not only mentioned but it's also shown on the chart, which is all a bit weird, but then that's Jefferson for you. So approaches for runway 34, you have a standard instrument landing system, which remember you can use as a back course approach for the other end. You have an RNAV GPS option, and there's also a VOR option. As you can see, here is the VOR, which allows you to make an approach to this end of the airport. So let's have a look at runway 12. And runway 12 features medium intensity runway lighting, and that's all. But as you can see, we've got a precision approach path indicator here on the left, and we've also got a centerline lighting as well as the medium approach lighting. So they've added or left in PAPIs and the centerline when it's actually not marked on the charts here. But again, I'm not really complaining, that's okay. Let's have a look at the other end, runway 30. So runway 30 features medium intensity runway lighting, as we'd expect as it's at both ends. And this end has precision approach path indicators on the left side, which it does. So you can make approaches to both ends of this runway using the vertical guidance from the PAPIs, even though the PAPIs are not listed for runway 12, but they are listed for runway 30. What I should say is, according to the charts, there are no published instrument approaches for this runway at either end. So we're looking at visual approaches probably until sunset or from sunrise. And that's about it. Main runway, obviously the longest one, runway 1634, is in use most of the time. So that does it for runways. Again, no jetways at this airport, it's a regional airport. So let's start the main tour and again see what we're being presented with from the SPINOZA team on this occasion. Okay, welcome back to the daytime here. So we're going to start first with a look in the far northeast corner of the airport. It's quite a large project here. And here you can see this little area here with a helicopter, there's a hangar there. And it's quite a nice little scene here as well. You've got the fence line there next to the hangar. And here's a close-up of the building. As you can see, it's an air medical area. And actually on the chart there is an H there, so it's marked as a helicopter pad or base of some sort. And again, a nice little scene, some decent cars, a couple of people. I mean, it's great. Atmospherically, it's lovely. So as we head south, we'll cross the threshold of runway 16 here, and we'll have a look at some of the signage. So here's the entrance to runway 16 from the eastern side of the area we've just looked at. Concrete texture's lovely, ground markings are excellent, and the signs are on plinths. And yeah, all of this looks really nice. So here on the side you've got this kind of, I think this is a kind of a flashing light, not really sure. You've got blue airfield edge lights as well. This is the other side of the runway. And as we head to the northwest side, you've got this stuff here off airport. This is part of the default scenery, but there below us you can see the fence line as it should be. So here you've got this hangar area here. We've got some various people. I mean, it all looks really nice. Atmospherically and ambience wise, it's brilliant. There's a look at the hangar up close. And just a look from the land side part with the fence. So we start the tour airside towards the south. And as you can see, I mean, it looks lovely. The fence line is accurate. You've got various people scattered here and there. There you've got a fuel farm there, engineers stood by it and working on it. Visually it's all very nice. So various trucks parked landside of the fence there with various bits of equipment, and again you've got people figures dotted about here as well, which give it some sort of depth and some sort of ambience. Another huge hangar here to the right, and if we come up a little bit, and that's what it looks like landside. Everything nicely done in 3D, nothing left to photo scenery, which is really good. I mean, I like this, I like it a lot. So runway 12 threshold there to the left. Here are the main hangars. There's a whole spread of them here. And various aircraft and bits and pieces dotted about here as well. So as we go this side in towards the hangar area, just look at this open hangar. Various aircraft models sitting about there. And once again, the same attention to detail. When the hangar looks great. Visually inside it looks really, really good. So we're staying airside for the moment. You can see various bits of equipment. There's the fence line. Air SHASTA. They're a fixed base operator there. Like the trees there, the little tree line looks really good. And there you've got people looking through the fence. Some people by the helicopter. There's my Cessna 172 down below. And yet more aircraft out here on the ramp. There's the airport building. Got a fire truck there. And fire station equipment and people. All dressed in the right uniforms. The Reading Jet Centre. And you've got what looks like a caravan, Cessna caravan in there. And again, various people and vehicles and things dotted around here to add to the ambience. There's a helicopter inside the hangar. So while we're here, let's have a look at the control tower, which is nicely modelled, and we've got internal development. So let's pop inside. Very good. 2 controllers and an engineer. One of them's animated, which is lovely, and a nice view outside of the tower. Windows probably should be misted, but I'm not going to complain about that. It's just a nitpick, really. But as you can see, a great view across the airfield, and the tower's nicely done. So we continue the airside tour. Here we are looking over the fence to the car park there. And again, you see you've got a guy stood there in the middle of the car park on his phone. It all adds to the ambience and the way it should look. In terms of people scattering, this is probably one of the best airports I've seen that has managed to do this and make it look real. Still going airside, lots of clutter, various bits and pieces. And even the buildings are weathered there as well. The foliage looks great too. The trees are nicely modelled. I don't know if they've been placed. I would suspect they are. But it just looks good. So continuing airside. It looks like a Gloucester METEOR, I don't know. Animated flag there. Nice model. Once again, you got people standing there admiring it. Very nice. and a whole host of solar panels. And a couple of engineers just out there working on them. So a nice high shot there looking towards the southeast. You've got the mountains in the distance there. A little highway to the right with traffic going down it. And there's an airport overview showing you runway 34 and the airport itself looking towards the north. So we take a quicker tour landside from south to north. Again, more vehicles, all nicely placed, and more people. All dotted about. I mean, landside looks just as nice as airside, to be honest. It's a lovely little airport, and the runway's long enough to get a 737 or A319-320 in here as well. Although I need to research that and see what flies in here in terms of airliners now. But as you can see, the modelling is top notch, it's excellent. The airport visually is very pleasing to look at. Everything that is needed for you pilots is here. I mean, this looks like a really nice airport, very, very nice modelled. Huge improvement on the last one I looked at. Okay, so that was the airport during the day. Let's lower the lighting now and look at the airport at dusk. Okay, 7:10 in the evening, and as you can see, we've now got the lighting here seen from a higher level. Lights came on about 3 minutes ago. And you've got what looks like parallaxing here on some of the buildings. You can see the blue airfield edge lights. There are green centerline lights here and there as well, which helps. And at this point, having the centerline lights on the runway is also a big plus, I think. There's the far northeast corner where we've got that helicopter operations from. And just a close-up look at that corner. Some very, very nice subtle lighting going on here. No asobo glows floating around. The light is coming from the correct sources. Lovely downlighting on the building here and on this hangar. And as we get close, here we look at the parallaxing, which is of a good order. It's a reasonably high resolution and it looks good. It's a little bright, I think, but it works because the resolution is high enough to make it look good. And there, as we get a little bit closer, it's still high enough to make it believable, which is really good in my opinion. The car models are excellent. These are really high resolution, decent car models. So as we cross the threshold of runway 16 here, let's have a look at some of these buildings and lights. And it's nice. Okay, the parallaxing is a bit sort of sloppy here. It's not high resolution at all, but that it's probably not designed to give you any idea of what's in here really. It's just lit up, which is probably a nice thing, I would think. And there's the building seen from land side. You've got that internal hangar which is opened up, nice drop lighting, and again the lighting here provided around the fence area by the big tall light up to our left there. So we just move along here as we've done before. Again, lots of subtle lighting, all being provided by the correct light sources. No globes floating around. The odd drop light on the buildings there, which is a nice touch and gives nice effects. I particularly like the way this is blue. It just looks good. Once again, parallaxing on the windows there, but not of a high resolution, but then probably not necessary. Still looks good in my opinion. Let's just pop across here. And it's nice, it really is lovely. Department of Agriculture, Forest Services there. And even the roofs had proper attention, as you can see. Again, one single light source there, providing light as it should do. Now once again you have this really nice bluish looking downlighting on the buildings, which looks really nice, to be honest. I think it looks lovely. So going across the main hangars, again loads of different subtle lighting here and there. It looks great. There's the open hangar we looked at before. And here you've got parallaxing of a different kind of a colour there. It's really nice. So as a close-up look at the jet centre, again parallaxing on the doors and windows and everything, but of a higher resolution, enough to make it work, I think. Just about works here. It just looks good. You know, it really does. There you got the helicopter in the hangar being worked on. Let's have a look at the tower. You've got the mandatory red light on the top, which is good. And inside all looks very pleasant as well. Nicely done. So the lighting generally on the whole is very, very nice. It's been really nicely done. So a lot of attention's been paid to this. More parallaxing on this building. Again, it's of a high resolution, enough to make it look pretty good. Got various people there. Not an Asobo globe in sight. It looks really good. And again, you've got this subtle sort of blue parallaxing, which is very effective and very pleasant. There's a FEDEX building. And we track out towards the sort of southeast side, going across this building. There's an animated flag, and there are all our solar panels. So while we're here, let's have a look at some of the taxiway signage in the darkness hours, which is perfectly acceptable. Really no problems there at all. And a quick look to the approach there. That's the approach to runway 34. And we're looking back across the airport, runway 1634 there to the right hand side. And there you can clearly see the green centre line taxiway lines. Excellent. So just a quick view. Here's my aircraft parked out here by the Titan fuel flow here. And again, you know, it just visually looks great. View from the cockpit's not really brilliant. For some reason I can't seem to turn the panel lights on for you to see, so I'm not really going to show you the cockpit view. But yeah, this is really nice. But the scene is really nice. It just really is nothing else to say about it. It's been very, very well done. Here's landside of that same building. My Cessna is parked just to the left across the airside fence. And just another view here. You know, it's very pleasing. The whole scene looks really, really good. Quick look at the jet centre hangar. There I believe is a Cessna CARAVAN, 208 CARAVAN. Wheels are stuck slightly in the concrete, maybe an elevation issue, but nothing really to write home about. It's lovely. And here's the inside of the helicopter hangar. They're working on that helicopter, two guys. Very nice. And just an overview looking towards the south. Okay, so let's turn the lights down to night time now. Okay, 10 PM local time, and as you can see the sun is completely gone now and we're stared full of darkness. And as you look at this scene from a high level, the lighting is wonderful. It's been beautifully done. There's a huge variation in the types of lighting, which I think really adds to the ambience of the whole airport. You've got this kind of bluey white downlighting on the hangars, and you've got this kind of bluish lighting that here and there. Then you've got the tungsten yellowish lighting, which lights up various areas landside. Some of the parallaxing that's of a higher detail is really good. It's just slightly bright, but that's really my only nitpick, and you can still see a little bit of light here on the control tower. And there we are looking south. Again, some variance in lighting, and you've got blue airfield edge lights, taxiway green lights, and everything leading to runway 34 threshold here. There's the WINDSOCK, which actually should be lit. There should be 2 red lights either side of there, because it's this particular type of WINDSOCKs is of the international type. You see it at many airports in Europe. So there should be 2 red lights on it, but again, that's just nitpicking. And there we are looking north. Again, you've got this wonderful variance of lighting that really looks beautiful from up here. All of this is well lit as well, and of course we've got this helicopter area on the far northeast corner, which also is lit during the night. So just a couple of night shots for you, nothing substantial. There isn't an awful lot of change. It just looks good everywhere you look. So just a few shots here to show you what it looks like at night. There's my aircraft on the ramp below, and the Air SHASTA building, and more lit hangars, and the taxiway that goes round the side there. And as we move up to this area, you can see the taxiway lines and the various signs. It looks lovely. I really like the way it's been done. Okay, this isn't high res and they haven't gone to town on this, but you know, it's still, I find it acceptable. It's just very, very nice. And the same is true of this hangar. Visually, it looks really pleasing. It really does. And there you've got that building, the little fuel farm there, and that's the approach to runway 16 threshold. So that was night time, just a few little looks around there. Let's bring the dawn up. If I'm in the right position, it should work quite nicely. So 7:05 in the morning, there's the moon disappearing behind the hills at the back, and you've got the lovely red glow on the various buildings. Yeah, looking southwest, runway 34 threshold to the left there. And there we are looking northwest. And finally there's a view of the sun coming up in the east. Okay, so 8 o'clock in the morning, looking right over the airfield here, and now time to wrap up the review and give you my thoughts. What do I think? It's lovely. It's a well-modelled, well-thought-out airport, and in terms of a regional, it's got so much going for it. The modelling is of very high quality. Parallaxing is good on some buildings, not quite so good on others, but then on the buildings where it's not that good, it's not that difficult anyway. It doesn't look that bad, it works. It's perfectly okay. Almost everything is weathered, including all of those hangars in the middle there. People are scattered throughout the scenery, which is good. Various types. You've even got the fire crews stood outside the fire station. 1 or 2 people in the car parks on their phones. There's a great variety of various people scattered across the airport, which really makes the scenery. Particularly like the foliage as well, the line of trees that we see here and there. And the whole airport fits really nicely into this particular location. Definitely worth trying to fly in here. It's lovely. It's very, very nicely modelled. Now, what about the price? Well, SPINOZA, the team at SPINOZA, are a really good team, as you can see by this scenery and the previous one I've looked at, and they've told me that they do their very best to keep the price below 20 euros. Which is, it's very laudable. I'm hugely impressed by that. So for just under 20 euros, 19 euros 92 cents, or just under 20, or just over $22, and those include taxes, by the way. I think it's perfectly, it's everything it should be. Even though it's a regional airport, there is so much that's been done to make the airport and every structure contained within it accurate to the last detail. I particularly like the lighting in the dusk hours. As with many airport sceneries, this airport comes to life after dark. So much subtle lighting, variation in the colours. It looks lovely. This place could be fun to taxi around at during the dusk hours. There's just so much that's pleasing about it. I like it a lot. For a regional airport, it's really lovely. I can't wait to try and fly the A3119 in here. But no, a very, very acceptable price, a really acceptable scenery. Highly recommended. I can't recommend it enough. And I'm not just saying that because I'm partnered with SPINOZA. If you saw the earlier review that I did of their other St. Petersburg, Florida scenery, you'll have noted the issues and the problems and the things that I didn't like about that scenery, even though I thought overall it was quite a good product. My comments are my own. They've not been influenced at all by SPINOZA, and anything I see major that's really a major problem in a scenery, I'll talk to them before I do a review anyway, so they give them time to correct it. So no, overall a really lovely product. I like it a lot. I like where it is. Lots of places to fly in and around California. This must be visited. It's got to be on my list to fly into. But yeah, it's highly recommended, and congratulations to the team at SPINOZA for producing something that's got an awful lot that so many airports don't have. Very nice indeed. So there you are, folks. It's Redding Regional Airport in California in the United States, Kilo Romeo Delta Delta. It's a payway scenery by the team at SPINOZA, and you're looking at version 1, the release version for Flight Sim 2020. And also, just to let you know, it will be available in the marketplace from around the 23rd of September. So Xbox users and people who buy their products from the marketplace will be able to obtain this scenery. Download is 746 meg, and it comes into the install at just over 2 gigs. You can get it from Sim Market, and the price is €19.92, which equates to $22.15 US, or £16.82 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates taken from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course could vary depending on where you are, which country you are when you make your purchase. So, highly recommended, a beautiful scenery, very fitting for this type of simulator that we fly today, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and I've got to fly in here, no, most definitely. So my name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, in partnership with the team at SPINOZA. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it as enthralling as I have. It's just a fantastic little product. Well priced, and it just looks good. So I've got hopefully 2 more products to review, which I'll bring out this week, hopefully, time permitting. But thank you for watching. If you've been on the fence about this, if you've seen this being advertised and you're wondering about it, for all you domestic flyers, there you go. Enjoy it. It's wonderful. So thank you again for watching. Thank you to the people who have bought me a coffee. A guy called Kelvin very nicely bought me some coffees recently. Thanks, Kelvin. It really helps with some of the costs I incur when I do this work. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one. My name's Lee. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.